Hey everybody, welcome back to Red Mug Music. I'm Brian, and before we get started, I want to, if you haven't done it yet, or if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so whenever I have a new video, you'll be the first to know. And also, I consider this a conversation, so please comment down below. I want to hear from you. Okay, today what we're going to do is review and rank all of the albums from the rock band Kiss from the 1990s and the 2000s, which is pretty much the rest of the Kiss records. There's only 5, so this shouldn't take long. The last review was from the 80s, and I'll recap those for you. Number 8 was Hot in the Shade. Number 7 was The Elder. Number 6 was Lick It Up. Number 5 was Unmasked. Number 4 was Asylum. Number 3 was Crazy Nights. Number 2 was Animalize. And number 1 was Creatures of the Night. But before I get started, I've got some new records. The first one I got is Rock and Roll Over. This one's a really good album. It was from the 70s. Go back and check that video out. Let me know what you think. The cool thing about Rock and Roll Over, I mean, that's really one of the coolest cover arts they have. And the sleeve is pretty simple. Whoop, too much glare. Not much going on there. And then, where'd it go? I had something real, here it is. This was cool. The sticker. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I want to put it on maybe the back of my car, but it's segmented. I know you can't tell, or maybe if I turn it a certain way, you can see it. But the segment goes around every band member, and then these outer corners, they also come apart. So I'm not sure why they do that. If you know why they're segmented like that, let me know. Comment down below. But this is sweet. So I got that. And I also got Destroyer. Fantastic album. Go back and watch the 70s rankings and find out where these two albums ranked. There's the back of it. And let's see, the inside just has, actually that's the lyrics to Detroit Rock City and Kiss, and then Shout It Out Loud, Kiss Army. So good stuff. So those are my new 2 records. And I've already talked about this one, Kiss World, the greatest hits album. And the only original that I have is Creatures of the Night, which was part of the 80s ranking. So go back and check that out and find out where that one landed. Anyway, so let's get started. Now, like I said, there's only 5 records that started from the 90s and on. They released in the 90s and the 2000s. So this won't take long. So starting at number 5, it's going to be Carnival of Souls, The Final Sessions. Now, this album came out in 1997, and it's a real hard album to listen to. It starts out fine, but it goes south really quick. It's got Gene, Paul, Bruce, and Eric Singer. The only song they released off of it was called Jungle, and I'm not sure why, because the real good songs are actually the Gene songs. So the Gene songs are the ones that make this album worth listening to. Otherwise, I skip over it. I don't like the record whatsoever. I think this was Kiss's attempt to match the grunge sound of the 90s, and they definitely missed the mark. But it does have Bruce Kulick singing lead. So, you have that. That's pretty cool. But not really much to listen to here, unless you're a Gene fan like me. There's not really much here to, listen to. So they come in at number 5. Okay, number 4. Number 4, I put Monster. Now, Monster is their 20th studio album and also the most recent, which came out in 2012. Now, that one has Gene Paul, Tommy Thayer, which we've talked about before, and Eric Singer. They have releases such as Hell or Hallelujah and Long Way Down. And this album has, I feel like they tried to capture that sound of early Kiss. And again, it does, but it's just not as good. It's not the greatest album. You can also hear Gene's voice and Paul's voice have something extra. It's some kind of a filter or distortion or something on there, like helping them out. You can definitely tell that their voices just aren't what they used to be. So they're giving them a little extra in there, but it's not a good album for me to listen to. I don't really care for it, but it came in at number 4. And then coming in at number 3 is Psycho Circus. Now, this album came out in 1998 with the lineup of Gene, Paul, Ace, and Peter. And they're all back in their makeup once again. So this is when the band all got back together again. Um, but really, Ace only plays on 2 songs, and Peter Chris, I think, only plays drums on 1 song, which was Into the Void. Kevin Valentine plays the drums on the rest of the songs. So basically, it's just like old times. It's just a big jumbled mess on who's playing what. So anyway, like Carnival, it starts off really good, but then it drops off really fast. They release songs like Psycho Circus, We Are One, which I'm not a fan of. I Finally Found My Way. I can't believe, why did they release that song? I Finally Found My Way. That's that Peter Chris song that does not sound like a Kiss song at all. Like, I would expect that song to have been like on his solo album. So I'm not exactly sure why they would release it. It's definitely not going to sell that album. There's no way. Maybe that was the only way he was going to come back, is like, well, I'll come back if you release my music. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. And it had the song You Wanted the Best, which is a good title for them. Anyway, honestly thought this album would give like what I consider today's number 1 album a run for its money, but it actually didn't even come close. So, Psycho Circus, number 3. Then coming in at number 2 was Sonic Boom. Now, Sonic Boom came out in 2009 with Gene Paul, Tommy, and Eric again. This is the first album to feature Tommy on the cover, and they're all in makeup again. And if you think there's something familiar with that album cover, it looks a lot like Rock and Roll Over, because it was actually the same guy. So the guy who did the cover of Rock and Roll Over did the same cover, did the Sonic Boom cover. So you got that. Also, this album is extremely hard to find because Walmart has distribution rights on it. So I guess you have to go to Walmart to find it, which I tried to. My wife went and tried to find it for me. Cannot be found. I remember it being there a long time ago, but I guess they don't have it anymore. I don't know. So that one's really difficult to find. And if you try to find the record on Amazon or on eBay, it's god awful high. So it's kind of a hard to get record. So I had to go to YouTube to listen to it so I can give it my review. So thanks YouTube for that. It's pretty good, and it comes with 2 discs. The second disc is a bunch of Kiss classic redos where they cover songs like Love Gun, Lick It Up, and I Love It Loud. So really, it's a great buy. So if you can find it, get it. Okay, number 1. Told you this wouldn't take long. Number 1, the best album they put out in the 90s and beyond is Revenge. Revenge was released in 1992, and it has my favorite post-Ace and Peter lineup, which is Gene, Paul, Bruce, and Eric Singer. That is absolutely my favorite. This is the first album after the death of Eric Carr, and actually the first album with Eric Singer. Um, so that's pretty sad, but Eric Singer is definitely a heck of a drummer. So So I'm glad he's there. But I love Revenge. It's the first Kiss album to start with a Gene song. I went back through it again today. I don't think they ever start with Gene songs. It's always a Paul Stanley song. Why is that? I don't know. I guess they just feel like the Paul Stanley's a little bit more commercial or easier to listen to. I'm not sure, but this one starts with Unholy. So that's a big plus. Now, I think Carnival of Souls, which was the next album that came out, he did it again. They started with a Gene song, so it took them that long, and went through the '70s and the '80s, and it took them to 1992 before they put a Gene song on as the first track. So go Gene. So besides Unholy, the first song on the track, Gene has songs like Spit and Domino, Thou Shalt Not, Paralyzed. Dang. I mean, that's a great bunch of songs by Gene. And then Paul didn't do so bad himself. He had songs like Take It Off, Tough Love, Heart of Chrome. I mean, wonderful stuff. And he had a great ballad with Every Time I Look at You. Great song. So this is a really, really good album. It's solid and maybe one of the hardest rock albums they've ever done. That's debatable, I guess. So let me know down below if there's another rock album that's harder than this. Which one do you think it would be? Maybe Creatures? Maybe Lick It Up? This one's hard. It's a good one. But I've listened to this album so many times. My buddy Fallon, I probably drove him crazy with how many times where I've made him listen to this album. Actually, he can quote lyrics just because I made him listen to it so much. So sorry about that. Well, anyway, that concludes my Kiss Studio album rankings. This was so much fun. Being able to go through the '70s, the '80s, the '90s, the 2000s. That was great. I mean, I listened to all their studio albums, which was super fun. So I'm glad I did it. So be sure you can go back and watch the '70s and watch the '80s, and comment down below. Let me know what you think, and also with this one, let me know. I love to get some feedback, and like I said before, I consider this a conversation. So I want to hear what you got to say. So, thanks for hanging out with me today. Please like my video, subscribe to the channel, and you can follow me on Instagram at Red Mug Music, where I post my reconstructed playlist, which I need to do that. Do album reviews and just anything and everything else music. And also, you can now find me on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Red Mug Music. So find me there as well. So anyway, thanks guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week.